Do you know which words your cat actually understands when you talk to them? Most people assume their cat only responds to the sound of a treat bag or a can opener, but a groundbreaking study from Japan's Sophia University proved that cats learn and respond to specific words you use on a daily basis. And one of those words, the one almost every owner says wrong, might be slowly breaking your cat's trust without you even knowing it. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because by the end of this video, you're going to look at your cat differently. You're going to replay old memories. The time they ignored you, the time they froze, the time they came running from another room. All of it is going to make sense once you understand what's actually happening inside that little head of theirs. Cats aren't the blank, unreadable creatures people make them out to be. They're listening, they're processing, they're building a relationship with you through sound, and most owners never realise it's happening. Let's start with the word they learned before anything else. 1. They know their own name. Have you ever called your cat's name and watched them look at you, blink once and then walk the other direction? You probably thought they didn't understand, but they did. They absolutely did. In 2019, researcher Atsuko Saito and her team at Sophia University in Japan published a study that changed everything we thought we knew about cats and language. They tested dozens of cats living in ordinary homes, not laboratories, and found something remarkable. Cats can distinguish their own name from random words, and even from other words that sound almost identical in length and rhythm. That means your cat isn't just reacting to a familiar sound pattern. They are recognizing that specific word as something that refers to them, and only them. So why don't they always come running the moment you say it? Because cats aren't wired to respond the way dogs are. Dogs were bred over thousands of years for cooperation and obedience. Humans selected for dogs that looked to us for direction. Cats were never bred that way. Cats largely domesticated themselves by sticking around grain stores and hunting rodents, which means the instinct to obey simply was never part of the deal. Cats were never born to obey, they were born to evaluate. When your cat hears their name, they make a choice. It happens fast, almost instantly, but it is a choice. They weigh whether responding is worth it based on what usually happens next. If calling their name usually leads to something good, like food, play, or affection, they're more likely to come. If it usually leads to a bath, a vet carrier, or being picked up against their will, don't hold your breath. You could call their name 20 times, and they will lie there, ears twitching, fully aware, fully ignoring you on purpose. And that's what makes this so fascinating. Your cat knows exactly what you're saying. They just decide whether you're worth responding to in that moment. It isn't confusion. It isn't a lack of intelligence. It's a cost-benefit calculation running quietly behind those eyes. Here's something else worth knowing. The tone you use when saying their name matters just as much as the word itself. Cats are extremely sensitive to pitch and rhythm. A higher, warmer tone tends to get a better response than a flat or sharp one, because it mimics the kind of vocal patterns cats associate with positive social interaction. So if you've been calling your cat's name in the same flat tone you'd use to read a grocery list, that might be part of why they're not bothering to look up. And if your cat knows their own name, what else have they been quietly picking up on without you ever teaching them on purpose? The last word on this list might change the way you see your cat forever, so stick around for that one. 2. They know what no means. Ever noticed how your cat freezes the second you say no? Maybe they were on the counter, scratching the couch, or about to knock something off the table, and you said it once and they stopped. So they clearly understood, right? Well, yes and no. Your cat absolutely learns what no means over time. But here's what most owners get wrong. Cats don't respond to the word the way you think they do. They respond to the tone, the volume, and the emotional charge behind it. That sharp, sudden sound creates a negative association in their nervous system almost instantly. Your cat learns that when that sound happens, something unpleasant tends to follow, whether that's you walking toward them, picking them up, or simply your energy shifting in a way that feels tense. so they stop, not because they respect a household rule, but because they want to avoid the discomfort that follows. And this is where it gets tricky, and honestly, where a lot of well-meaning owners go wrong without realizing it. If you use no too often, too loudly, or at the wrong moments, your cat doesn't learn discipline. They learn fear. They start associating you, specifically your voice and your presence, with stress. And over time, that changes everything about how they relate to you. They hide more, often in spots you don't expect, like behind furniture or under beds, places where they feel like the unpredictable sound can't reach them. They flinch when you move too fast, even if you weren't moving toward them at all. They stop coming to you when you cool, not because they forgot the bond you two share, but because you accidentally rewired what your presence means to them on a subconscious level. A relationship that used to feel safe now feels like it has landmines in it, and your cat starts walking around those landmines instead of toward you. The owners who get the best results with this word are the ones who use it sparingly and calmly, a short, firm tone, not a yell. No repeating it 5 times in a row while your voice climbs higher each time. One calm no, followed immediately by redirecting them to something they can do instead, like a scratching post instead of the couch, or a cat tree instead of the counter. That's how you teach a boundary without breaking trust in the process. Correction without connection just teaches avoidance. Correction paired with redirection teaches understanding. It also helps to remember that cats live very much in the moment. If you scold them minutes after the unwanted behaviour happened, they have no idea what the no is even referring to anymore. All they register is that you suddenly seem upset, and that becomes one more confusing, stressful association tied to your voice. Timing is everything with this word, maybe more than with any other word on this list. And hey, if this is making you rethink every conversation you've ever had with your cat, hit like and subscribe so we can share this with more cat owners who deserve to know what their cat actually hears when they speak. 3. They know what treat means. What's the one word that makes your cat appear out of thin air no matter where they are in the house? You already know the answer. Treat. You could whisper it from 3 rooms away, and somehow your cat is already sitting at your feet, staring at you like they've been waiting all day for this exact moment. And this isn't just cute, it's science. Cats learn through something called classical conditioning. It's the same process a scientist named Ivan Pavlov discovered over 100 years ago when he noticed that dogs started drooling just from hearing a bell, because they had learned that the bell meant food was coming. The bell itself had no meaning at all at first. It was just noise. But once it was paired with food again and again, the brain stopped treating it as random noise and started treating it as a signal. When a specific sound is followed by the same outcome every single time, the brain builds a direct connection between the two. Sound equals food. No thinking required. It becomes automatic, almost reflexive, which is exactly why your cat doesn't pause to consider it. They just react. And here's the funny part. Most owners don't even realise they trained their cat to do this. You never sat down and ran vocabulary lessons. You just said treat before giving them one, over and over, day after day, and your cat did the rest of the work entirely on their own. They connected the sound to the outcome faster than you'd expect. Because food is one of the most powerful motivators in a cat's entire world, it taps directly into survival instinct, and survival instinct doesn't need convincing. But it goes even further than the word itself. Some cats start responding to the sound of the bag crinkling before you've even said anything. The cabinet door opening, the fridge humming a certain way, even your footsteps walking toward the kitchen at a specific time of day. They've built an entire chain of associations around that one moment of feeding, and the word treat is just the most obvious, most human recognizable trigger in a system your cat quietly built entirely on their own, without any training plan from you at all. This is also why consistency matters so much if you're trying to teach your cat any new word. The brain needs repetition paired with a predictable outcome to actually wire that connection in. Say a word inconsistently, and your cat may never fully latch onto it. Say it the same way, in the same context enough times, and it becomes part of their permanent vocabulary, the same way treat did. 4. They know your other cat's name. If you have more than one cat, have you ever said one of their names and noticed the other one react? Maybe they looked toward the cat you were calling. Maybe they glanced at the door their housemate usually walks through a few seconds later. You probably brushed it off as coincidence. It wasn't. In 2022, a research team led by Saho Takagi at Kyoto University in Japan published a study that stunned a lot of people in the animal behavior world. They found that cats who live with other cats learn and recognize the names of their housemates. Not just the sound of the name, but the identity behind it, meaning they connect a specific sound to a specific individual. The same way you might recognize a sibling's name and instantly picture their face. Here's how the researchers proved it. They played a cat's name out loud while showing either the correct matching cat on a screen, or a completely different cat that didn't match the name at all. When the wrong cat appeared after the name was spoken, the cats in the study stared noticeably longer at the mismatch. That longer stare is a well-documented indicator in animal behavior research. It signals that something doesn't line up with what the animal expected to see. In simple terms, the cat heard a name, mentally pictured a specific face, and when reality didn't match that expectation, their brain flagged the inconsistency. Think about what that actually means for a second. Your cat has been quietly building a mental map of your entire household, including the other animals in it, without anyone teaching them how. They know who's who. They know which name belongs to which face, and likely which name belongs to which smell, sound, and personality too. Nobody sat them down and explained it. They figured it out simply by living alongside everyone, and paying close attention to patterns that you probably never even noticed you were creating. This same recognition often extends beyond just other cats. Many cats also learn to associate specific words and names with specific humans in the house, especially if different people interact with them in noticeably different ways. Like one person being the one who always plays, and another being the one who always feeds. The cat is constantly cataloguing this information in the background, even when it looks like they're just napping on the windowsill, completely checked out. So the next time you call one cat and the other one looks up anyway, know that it's not random, and it's not confusion. They understood exactly who you were talking to, and they simply chose to be nosy about it. 5. They know what "come here" means. Have you ever looked at your cat from across the room, said, "Come here," and watched them actually walk toward you? Most people laugh it off like it was a lucky coincidence. But what if your cat has understood those words for far longer than you ever realised? This is the one we hinted at earlier, and it might genuinely change the way you see your cat forever. Cats aren't born knowing what "come here" means. There's nothing instinctive about those particular sounds. But over time, through hundreds of small repeated moments, they build a connection between those words and whatever reliably follows them. You say it, and then you give them affection. You say it, and then they get picked up and held somewhere warm. You say it, and then they end up curled in your lap while you watch something on the couch. Your cat didn't learn this from a textbook or a training class. They learned it from you, from every single time those particular words led to something good happening afterward. And that's what makes this one fundamentally different from every other word on this list. Treat is about food. No is about avoidance and managing discomfort. But "come here" is about your relationship. It carries emotional weight that none of the other words do. When your cat hears those words and actually chooses to get up, walk across the room and approach you, they're not obeying a command the way a dog might. Cats don't really do commands in that sense. They're telling you through their own behaviour that every experience they've had with you after hearing those words made them feel safe enough to come back for more. That single decision to walk toward you instead of toward literally anywhere else in the house is one of the clearest signals of trust a cat is capable of giving. It means your voice, specifically that phrase, has become linked in their mind with comfort instead of risk. And once you understand that, it reframes basically every interaction you've ever had with them. the freeze when you said no, the choice to ignore their name, the instant appearance the second you said treat, and finally, the decision to walk toward you when you said come here. All 5 of these moments are windows into the exact same thing, a running, ongoing evaluation your cat makes about whether you, as a person, are safe, predictable, and worth their attention. Cats have quietly been listening this entire time. They've been building a private vocabulary shaped entirely around their experience of living with you, and the words on this list are just the most obvious entries in it. Every tone you use, every routine you repeat, every reaction you give after a certain sound, all of it gets filed away and used to decide how your cat behaves around you going forward. So the next time your cat looks at you, blinks slowly, and walks away when you call their name, don't assume they didn't hear you. They heard you perfectly well. They're just deciding, in that exact moment, whether you've earned a response, and the answer to that question is something you've been shaping for them the entire time you've lived together, one word, one tone, and one moment at a time. If this video changed the way you think about your own cat, let us know in the comments which word on this list surprised you the most, and don't forget to like and subscribe so more cat owners can learn what their cat has actually been hearing all along.